Leela's throat tightened. Okay, I promise. Mira took a deep breath. She felt her power swirling inside her, unstable and wild, like a storm waiting to explode. Without the serum, it was getting harder to control. But she didn't have a choice. One of the hunters lunged forward. Mira threw her hand out instinctively. A shockwave blasted through the air, sending leaves flying and knocking two hunters off their feet. Lila fell back onto the grass, stunned by the force. Mira staggered. Her glowing veins pulsed violently, flickering like a broken light. Not good. Her body was failing. Move! Myra shouted. Lila grabbed her hand, and they ran deeper into the forest. The hunters recovered quickly. Do not let them escape. One shouted. Energy beams sliced through the air, hitting trees and causing them to burst into sparks. Layla screamed as one beam passed inches from her shoulder. Mira! There are too many. I know, Myra whispered, panting. Just keep running. Into the ravine, they reached a steep drop, a rocky ravine with a fast-flowing river below. Lila froze. Mira, we can't jump. We'll die. Myra looked back. The hunters were closing in fast. I won't let them take us. She wrapped her arms around Lila. Hold your breath. Before Lila could protest, Mira pushed them off the ledge. They fell. Wind roared past them. Lila screamed. Mira tightened her grip as they hit the water hard, sinking deep into the cold darkness. Lila fought her way to the surface, gasping. Myra! Myra! Mira surfaced weakly beside her, barely conscious. Lila pulled her toward the riverbank with all the strength she had. Myra, wake up. Please. Myra coughed, her glowing veins dimming. I can't hold the power anymore, she whispered. No. Don't say that. You saved me. You saved us. Stay with me. Footsteps echoed on the ravine edge above them. They jumped into the river. Spread out. They couldn't have gone far. The hunters were still searching. Lila dragged Mira behind a fallen tree. The girl was trembling, her body flickering with faint blue light like an unstable fire. Lila, Myra whispered. If they catch me, they will use me again. They will hurt your family. I don't want that. You are not going back. Leela cried. Tears streamed down her face. I won't let them take you. Myra closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed. Her skin was growing colder. You're dying. Leela whispered. You need that serum. Yes. Mira whispered, weak. Without it, I fade. Lila held her face in her hands. Where can we find it? Tell me. Myra opened her eyes slightly. The lab? It is west of here, deep in the restricted zone. No human can enter. They will kill anyone. Lila shook her head. I don't care. I'll go. I'll bring it to you. Mira reached out and held her hand shakily. No, it's too dangerous. You must, but Myra's sentence was interrupted. Loud mechanical hum vibrated through the forest. Lila looked up. Large drone-like aircraft slowly descended above the trees, its blue spotlight sweeping across the ravine. Oh no, Leela whispered. They brought a carrier. The hunters' voices echoed from the cliff. She is below. Prepare for capture. Myra tried to stand, but her legs trembled. She collapsed again. Lila, leave me. Save yourself. Lila stared at her in disbelief. Double quotes. No, never. I promised I would stay with you. Myra's eyes softened with something like sadness and fear. You will die if you stay, she whispered. Then we die together. Lila answered without hesitation. The aircraft spotlight moved closer. The hunters began rappelling down ropes, landing in the ravine one by one. Lila's heart pounded. There was no exit. No way to run. Nowhere to hide. Myra forced herself to stand, her body shaking violently. Blue light surged under her skin. No, Myra whispered. I won't let them take you. Leela pulled at her arm. Myra, stop. You'll overload. But Myra didn't stop. Her eyes glowed bright blue, brighter than ever before. Her entire body lit up with energy. Stay behind me, she said. Layla stumbled back, tears falling. Myra, please. The hunters aimed their weapons. Myra of Project Theta, one shouted. You are ordered to surrender. Myra stood tall, even as her body cracked with unstable light. I am not your project, she said. The air trembled. Her power was about to burst, and this time, it could destroy everything in the ravine, including herself. The ravine glowed with blue light as Myra stood trembling, her body breaking apart from the inside. Every breath she took released sparks into the air. Lily watched, frozen with fear, knowing Myra was seconds away from losing control completely. The hunters surrounded them in a tight circle. Their weapons hummed as they charged up, the light on them growing brighter. Myra of Project Theta, their commander shouted. Stand down. You are unstable. If you use that power, you will destroy everything, including the human you are trying to protect. Myra clenched her fists. I don't care. I will not let you hurt her. Layla ran forward, grabbing Myra's arm. Myra, stop. You will die. Please? Myra looked at her with soft, fading eyes. Lila, I am already dying. The words hit Lila like a knife. No. No, I'm going to find the serum. I'm going to save you. Just hold on. Myra shook her head weakly. There is no time. Her glowing veins flickered violently. Lila held her tighter. You're not alone anymore. Don't leave me now. Tears streamed down her cheeks, mixing with the cold rain that had begun to fall. The hunters close, and the commander raised his hand. Prepare the inhibitor field. A cage of red light formed around Myra, trapping her inside. The field crackled, making Myra scream as it pressed against her unstable power. Lila tried to run to her, but two armored men blocked her path. Let me go, she cried, pushing and kicking. You will not interfere, one said coldly. Myra dropped to her knees, her body shaking. The red field tightened around her, shrinking. Myra! Lila screamed. Myra reached her hand toward Lila through the glowing barrier. Her voice was soft, broken. I don't want to disappear? Alone. Lila reached out through the field, feeling its painful sting on her skin. I'm here. I'm with you. Don't give up, please. The hunters activated the final lock. The barrier turned brighter, almost white. Myra screamed. Her power surged outward, cracking the ground beneath her. Rocks lifted into the air, floating around her like she was the center of a storm. The commander shouted, Contain her. Now. But the red field flickered. Once, twice, then it shattered. A burst of blue energy exploded outward, knocking the hunters off their feet. Leela was thrown backward, hitting the ground hard. She coughed, pushing herself up, eyes searching for Myra. Myra, where are you? When the dust settled, she saw Myra standing barely. Her body emitted a soft blue light, but her shape was unstable, like she was fading. Myra! Lila crawled toward her, but Myra stepped back. Her voice was almost gone. Don't touch me. I'm losing form. I might hurt you. Leela shook her head. I don't care. She forced herself up and ran to Myra, wrapping her arms around her. For a second, Myra's body glowed blinding bright. Then it softened. The storm calmed. Myra leaned her head on Lila's shoulder. You held me together. Lila cried silently. You're not a monster. You're not a project. You're my friend. Myra smiled weakly. Thank you for seeing me. as more, but her body flickered again. Lila looked around desperately. The hunters were stunned and scattered, but she knew they would recover any second. "I have to get you out of here," she said. "I have to find the serum." "You'll be okay. You just have to hold on." Myra shook her head. "No, I can't go much longer." Lila refused to accept it, but Myra lifted her hand and placed it gently on Lila's cheek. "Lila, if I disappear, promise me something." Lila sobbed. "What?" "Live, be brave. Don't hide like I did." Lila held Myra's hand tight. "I will, but only if you stay with me, please." Myra's light dimmed slowly, gently. "I wish I could stay," she whispered. "You gave me something I never had." "What?" Lila whispered. "A home." The hunters began to rise behind them, weapons ready again. But before they could move, Myra stood tall one last time. Her body glowed bright blue. She looked at Lila with the warmest, most human smile she ever had. "Goodbye, Lila." Then she turned toward the hunters and released everything. A huge wave of blue light swept across the ravine, silent, powerful, and beautiful. The hunters' armor blinked out, their weapons fried instantly. Trees shook, leaves flew, and the whole world seemed to pause dot when the light finally faded. Mira was gone. Not ashes dot, not a body. Only a soft shimmer drifting through the air. Like falling stars, Lila fell to her knees. "Myra, please come back." But the ravine was silent. She pressed her face into her hands, crying harder than she ever had. Then, something touched her shoulder. A small warm spark. Lila looked up. A single blue light floated beside her, soft and gentle. It hovered close, as if wiping her tears. Lila smiled through her pain. "You're still here," she whispered. "Not gone. Just free." The blue light glowed once, then drifted upward, rising into the night sky like a tiny star returning home. Lila watched it until it disappeared, and even in her sadness, she felt that Myra wasn't erased. She had transformed. She had finally escaped. She was finally free. Suddenly, dogs barked loudly behind them, closer than before. Ravina froze. They trained animals to track my scent. The dogs burst through the trees, pulling soldiers behind them. Alina didn't think twice. She stepped between Ravina and the soldiers. "Stop!" She shouted. The soldier in the front pointed a weapon at Ravina. "Move away, kid. That creature is dangerous." "She's not dangerous," Alina yelled back. "She's starving and scared." The soldier didn't listen. He aimed again. Ravina pushed herself in front of Alina. "Don't hurt her." A glowing force pulsed from Ravina's body, knocking dust and leaves into the air. The soldiers stumbled back a little, but Ravina nearly collapsed from the effort. Alina grabbed her. "Don't use your powers. You're too weak." Ravina shook her head. "I must protect you." More soldiers surrounded them, rifles raised. Alina's chest tightened. She hugged Ravina protectively. "No, I'll protect you." The soldiers moved closer. One lifted his weapon higher. Ravina's eyes widened in fear. "Please," Alina whispered. "Don't shoot." But the soldier's finger tightened around the trigger. Ravina sensed it first. She shoved Alina aside with her last bit of strength. BZZT. A stun beam shot through the air and hit Ravina in the chest. She screamed, her glow exploding into fragments of blue light. Alina fell to the ground and reached out helplessly. "Ravina." Ravina hit the forest floor, shaking uncontrollably from the electric shock. Her body curled, and her hands spasmed. The soldiers rushed forward to capture her. Alina pushed herself up and ran to Ravina's side. "Please get up. Please." Ravina's eyes fluttered weakly. "Alina, Run? I'm not leaving you. Alina cried, shielding Ravina with her arms. The commander stepped forward. His voice was cold. Take the alien. And take the girl too. She's interfering. Two soldiers grabbed Alina by the arms. She kicked and screamed. Let go of me. Don't touch her. She didn't do anything. But they dragged her away as Ravina lay helpless on the ground. Just when it seemed everything was over, a low rumble shook the air. Leaves fell from trees. The ground vibrated. Everyone, soldiers, dogs. Alina looked up. A huge shadow moved across the sky, blocking the moon. A spaceship. Silent, massive, and heading straight toward the forest. Ravina's eyes widened with tears. My people. They found me? The soldiers panicked, shouting orders. Alina stared in shock as blue lights glowed. Across the ship's underside, something big was coming. Something that would change everything. Night had fallen. But Myra could not sleep. Her body was tired, but her mind was wide awake, filled with fear and unanswered questions. She sat near the small window of Lila's room, watching the moonlight fall through the trees. Every shadow outside looked like something dangerous. Every sound felt like someone searching for her. Lila woke up quietly and saw Mira sitting alone. She walked to her and sat beside her. Mira, are you okay? She asked softly. Myra shook her head. No, they are close. I can feel it again. They are looking for me. Lila swallowed hard. She did not fully understand who they were, but she could see Mira's fear was real. Why do they want to take you? She asked. Myra closed her eyes for a moment. Then she spoke slowly, as if the truth itself was painful. Because I am not like them. I was created in a lab. I am a failed experiment. They made me to be stronger, faster, different. But something went wrong. They kept me like an animal, hungry, alone. When I escaped, they said I was dangerous. They want to destroy me. Lila's heart broke again for her. You are not dangerous, Myra, she said. You saved me. You protected my family tonight. Mira looked at her hands, the faint glow under her skin. I try to control it. But sometimes, when I get scared, I lose control. Layla reached out and held her hand. You are safe here. You are not alone anymore. For a moment, Myra allowed herself to believe it. But outside, someone was watching. A tall figure stood near the trees, barely visible. He raised a small device to his mouth and whispered, We found her. The next morning, Lila's parents were trying to act normal, but the fear in their eyes was clear. They kept checking the windows, locking the doors again and again. Her father even took an old hunting shotgun from the storage room. We don't know who those men were, he said. But if they return, we have to be ready. Lila nodded, but she was worried about Myra more than anything. Mira looked even weaker than before. She tried to help fold blankets, but she suddenly fell to her knees. Mira! Lila shouted and ran to her. I need something, Mira whispered. Something they used to give me. Something blue. It kept my body stable. Layla's father narrowed his eyes. Medicine? Not medicine, Mira said. A serum. Without it, my body starts breaking down. Lila felt panic rising in her chest. We need to find it, she said. But Myra shook her head. It is impossible. Only the lab has it. Lila clenched her fists. No, we will find something. We won't let you die. Her father and mother exchanged a silent, worried look. This was now bigger than they expected. A sudden attack just before noon. The peace shattered. A loud crash shook the front door. Lila's mother screamed. Her father grabbed the shotgun. Stay behind me, he shouted. Myra stood up quickly, her glowing marks brightening. She could feel them. The hunters. The ones who created her. The ones who wanted to erase her existence. The door burst open. 3 men in black armor rushed inside. Their eyes locked straight onto Mira. There she is. One of them shouted, "Do not move." Another barked, raising a weapon. Lila stepped in front of Myra without thinking. "No. You can't take her." The man replied coldly, "She is not a girl. She is property. A failed project. Move aside." Lila's father fired the shotgun into the ceiling. "Get out of my house." The men didn't flinch. These humans are becoming a problem. One muttered. Myra suddenly grabbed Lila's hand. "Run. What about my parents?" Lila cried. "They will be okay," Mira whispered. "But if they catch me, they will hurt all of you." The men charged forward. Mira pulled Lila toward the back door, her strength returning for a moment. They rushed out into the open field behind the house. Shots fired behind them. Lila screamed as energy. Beams hit the ground near her feet. Myra turned sharply. Her eyes glowed bright blue. A wave of force burst from her hands, and the men were thrown back into the walls of the house. Lila stared, shocked. "Mira, what are you?" Mira didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed Lila's shoulders. "I'm losing control. My powers respond to danger. I don't want to hurt you." Lila shook her head. "You won't. I trust you." But Myra could feel that her body was breaking down faster now. Without the serum, she didn't have long. "We must leave," Myra said. "Right now, or none of us will survive." Lila looked back at her home, her parents fighting inside. Tears filled her eyes, and she nodded. "Okay, I'm with you. Wherever we go." Myra squeezed her hand. Just as they began to run into the forest, more black-armored hunters appeared from the trees. Blocking their path. Myra stopped. Her eyes glowed again. "Lila," she whispered, "stay behind me." A storm was about to break loose. And this time, Mira didn't know if she could control it. The forest felt colder than before, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Mira and Lila stood frozen, surrounded by the dark-armored hunters who had stepped out from the shadows. Their glowing visors reflected Mira's blue light, making her feel like she was staring at her own nightmare. One of the men raised a strange silver device. "We don't want to kill you," he said flatly. "But we will if you resist." Myra stepped in front of Lila. "You will not take me," she said, her voice trembling but firm. The hunters took slow, careful steps forward. Lila grabbed Myra's arm. "Myra, what do we do?" "Run when I say," Mira whispered. "No matter what happens. But promise me." Its red scanners swept across the village. Alina's heartbeat thumped like thunder. The drone slowed down, scanning the houses, yards, the forest. Ravina grabbed Alina's arm. "They are searching for me." The drone stopped directly above the barn. A piercing red beam dropped down, lighting the ground. Alina pulled Ravina behind a haystack, holding her breath. The buzzing grew louder. Ravina whispered, trembling, "If they find me, they will take me away." Alina tightened her grip. "I won't let them." The red beam swept across the barn wall. Inches from their hiding spot, the drone paused. The silence was so strong it felt like the whole world stopped breathing. Then, suddenly, the drone beeped, turned away, and flew off toward the forest again. Alina and Ravina didn't move until the sound faded into the night. Ravina exhaled shakily. "I thought I would die." Alina looked at her with fierce determination. "No," she said. "As long as I'm here, nobody will take you." For the first time in many weeks, Ravina slept without fear. Inside the barn, wrapped in an old blanket Alina had brought, she lay quietly on a pile of soft hay. The faint glow of her skin lit the dark room like a tiny night lamp. Even in sleep, her breaths were shallow, as if her body still remembered danger. Alina sat beside her for a long time before leaving. She watched the glowing girl curl like a frightened child, and her heart felt heavy. She knew Ravina had been through things no one should ever face. Before leaving the barn, Alina whispered, "Good night. You're safe now." Morning came with warm sunlight, and Alina walked to school, pretending everything was normal. But her mind stayed in the barn the whole day. She kept thinking, did Ravina eat the food I left? Is she scared? Did the drone come back? When school ended, she ran home faster than usual. As soon as no one was watching, she slipped behind the house and opened the barn door carefully. Ravina was awake, sitting cross-legged on the hay. She turned her glowing eyes toward Alina and smiled faintly. It was the first real smile she had shown. "You came back," Ravina said softly. "I'll always come back," Alina replied. Ravina touched the blanket around her shoulders. "This is warm." "Thank you." Alina placed a new bag of food beside her. "I brought bread, fruits, and some cookies. Try the cookies, they taste really good." Ravina tilted her head, curious. She bit into one, and her eyes widened. "This is sweet. Very sweet." Alina laughed. "Yeah, cookies are amazing." For a moment, everything felt normal. Two girls sharing snacks. But the truth outside the barn was far from normal. Later that evening, Alina decided to talk to Ravina more. She wanted to understand her better. She sat close and asked, "Can you tell me about your planet?" Ravina's eyes softened. She raised her hands and drew slow glowing shapes in the air. The symbols floated like small blue flames. "My world was full of light," Ravina whispered. "Our skies were silver, our oceans were clear green, and our cities were quiet. We never used weapons. Our powers came from peace." She paused and looked down. "Humans destroyed everything. They wanted the light energy inside our bodies. They took many of us, including my mother and brother." Alina's heart broke hearing that. She gently placed a hand on Ravina's shoulder. "I'm so sorry. Humans can be cruel, but not all of us. I promise you, I'm different." Ravina nodded. "I know, you saved me." The moment felt warm, but reality soon disturbed it. A loud knock came from outside the barn door. Alina froze. Ravina's glow dimmed instantly. "Alina?" A deep voice called. It was Alina's father. "What are you doing back here?" Alina's heart jumped. She whispered urgently to Ravina, "Hide behind the boxes." Ravina silently moved to the darkest corner, curling her glowing body into a tight ball. Her light almost disappeared completely. Alina wiped her hands on her clothes and opened the barn door halfway. "Yes, Dad?" she said, trying to sound normal. Her father frowned. "Why are you always coming to this barn lately? And why does it smell like food?" Alina forced a laugh. I'm just playing. And I brought some snacks with me. That's why." Her father looked suspicious. He stepped inside with heavy boots, scanning the place. Alina's heart raced. "Please don't look behind the boxes. Please." Her father picked up a fallen blanket. "And what's this doing here?" "Oh, that's mine," Alina blurted. "I was pretending the barn was my campsite." He stared at her for a long moment. Then he sighed. "You're a strange child," he muttered. "Don't stay here too long. It's dusty." "Okay, Dad." When he finally walked out and shut the door, Alina dropped to her knees in relief. Ravina slowly came out from hiding, trembling. "He almost saw me." "I know," Alina whispered. "But it's okay. He didn't." Ravina touched her chest. "My heart is beating so fast." "Mine too," Alina said with a shaky smile. That night, after dinner, Alina sneaked back to the barn again. She wanted to check on Ravina before going to sleep. When she opened the door, she froze. Strange glowing lines were scattered across the barn walls, soft blue shapes that looked like symbols, drawings and patterns. They pulsed with gentle light. Ravina stood in the center of the barn, eyes closed, hands glowing. "Ravina, what are you doing?" Alina whispered. Ravina slowly opened her eyes. "My powers. They are returning." Her voice sounded deeper, stronger than before. "I was too weak to use them before. But your food and shelter are helping me heal." A sudden crackling noise came from outside. Ravina's glow dimmed instantly. Alina rushed to the window and peeked. Out, the military trucks that passed through their village earlier were back this time, moving slowly. Soldiers walked beside them, scanning every house with strange devices. "They are looking for me," Ravina whispered. Alina turned pale. "We need to hide you better." Ravina grabbed her hand. "No, they will search everywhere. I must leave." "No," Alina said firmly. "You're staying here. I won't let them take you." Ravina shook her head. "If they find me, they will hurt your family too." Alina looked into her glowing eyes. "Then we won't let them find you." But before they could move, a sharp, high-pitched mechanical whistle filled the air. Both girls looked up. Drone hovered above the barn window, its red scanner pointing directly at Ravina. The red scanning light filled the whole barn. It spread across the walls, the hay, the wooden floor. And then it stopped directly on Ravina. For a second, everything became silent. Then dash, beep, dash, beep, dash, beep. The drone's alarm blared loudly. It had locked onto Ravina's energy. Ravina gasped and jumped back. Her blue glow flared uncontrollably. Alina's heart pounded. "Ravina, hide!" But it was too late. The drone rose higher and shot a bright red signal into the sky like a flare calling soldiers. The beam disappeared into the clouds, and the drone screamed out another alarm before flying away toward the road. Ravina trembled. "They found me?" Alina didn't waste a second. She grabbed Ravina's hand. "We need to run. Now." They rushed out the back of the barn and into the dark field. Ravina stumbled, still weak, but Alina pulled her forward. The cold wind cut across their faces. Behind them, the deep rumble of engines filled the night. Military trucks. Lots of them. The ground vibrated under their boots. Lights flashed between the trees as soldiers spread out. Dogs barked in their cages. Heavy weapons clanked as soldiers unloaded them. Ravina looked terrified. They brought hunters, the ones with metal suits. They caught my family with them. Alina swallowed hard. "Not this time. They won't take you." But even she didn't know how they would escape. They reached the forest line. Ravina's glow lit the path softly, but she tried to dim it. Alina whispered, "This way. We'll hide deeper in the woods." Branches scratched their arms as they ran. Leaves crackled under their feet. The forest felt darker, angrier, like it knew they were being hunted. Behind them, soldiers shouted, "Scan this area." Something moved this way. Track the energy spike. The soldiers' detection devices beeped sharply. They were getting closer. Ravina suddenly stopped and pressed her back against a tree. "Alina, I can't run fast enough. My legs. They're too weak." Alina turned back, grabbed her shoulders, and spoke firmly, "You have to try. We're almost safe." But Ravina wasn't looking at her. She was staring at something behind her. Alina slowly turned around. A soldier stood only 10 meters away, holding a glowing scanner. When he saw Ravina, his eyes widened. "There!" he shouted. "Target sighted. Code red. Move in." Alina's blood turned cold. She grabbed Ravina's wrist and pulled her into the bushes, just as several soldiers rushed toward them with flashlights and weapons. Ravina's breath shook. "They are closing in." Alina's voice broke, but stayed strong. "Then we keep moving." They crawled through thick bush until they reached a narrow path deeper into the woods. But Ravina suddenly winced and held her stomach. "My power. It is unstable. I feel sick." Her glow flickered like lightning about to stop. Alina held her. "Just a little further, please." The night was cold, and the forest stood silent, like it was holding its breath. The tall trees moved slowly with the wind, and small drops of rain fell from the dark sky. Deep inside this forest, an old broken shelter stood near a group of rocks. Its roof was almost gone, and the walls were cracked. No one came here anymore. Inside that shelter, an alien girl named Ravina sat in the corner, shaking from hunger. Her skin gave off a soft blue glow that flickered like a dying candle. She had not eaten for many days. Her long silver hair was messy, and her eyes were tired, almost closing on their own. Every sound scared her, the wind, the leaves, even her own heartbeat. Ravina had lived in hiding for weeks. She had escaped from humans who chased her kind. Her people came from another world, peaceful and quiet. But humans wanted to capture them, study them, and take the glowing energy inside their bodies. Ravina ran far into the forest and found this ruined shelter. She knew she could not trust anyone. She believed all humans were dangerous. Tonight her stomach hurt more than ever. She could barely stand. She hugged her thin arms around herself and tried not to cry. Far away, a young human girl named Alina walked home from school. It was getting dark, but she liked this time of day. The wind felt soft, and she enjoyed the quiet. She usually walked fast when passing the forest, but tonight something made her stop. She heard it, a small sound. Not an animal. Not wind. It sounded like someone crying. Alina frowned and looked toward the trees. "Who's there?" she whispered, even though she knew nobody would answer. The sound came again, soft and weak. Alina felt a pull inside her heart. She should go home. Her parents always told her not to enter the forest at night. But the cry sounded scared, alone. Maybe hurt. Her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She stepped between the trees, slowly, carefully. The deeper she went, the colder the air became. Shadows danced around her, and the branches made shapes that looked like hands reaching out. She felt nervous, but she didn't turn back. Then she saw the old shelter. A strange blue glow was coming from inside. Alina stopped breathing for a moment. No normal animal glowed like that dot. She took one step closer. Then another dot inside. Ravina heard footsteps. Her glowing eyes widened. She tried to stand, but she was too weak. She pressed her back against the wall, ready to run if she could. She thought it was a hunter. She thought she would die tonight. Alina pushed the cracked wooden door gently. It made a creaking sound. She peeked inside, and her whole body froze. Two bright blue glowing eyes were staring at her from the darkness. Alina's heart jumped. She wanted to scream, but couldn't. Ravina stared back, afraid and confused. For a long moment, neither moved. Ravina tried to speak, but her voice broke into a weak whisper. She took one step back, but her legs failed her. She collapsed to the ground. Alina gasped. Fear turned into worry. She rushed forward without thinking. Ravina tried to crawl away, but she didn't have the strength. Hey, it's okay, Alina said softly. I won't hurt you. Please don't be scared. Ravina blinked slowly. Her vision was blurry. She assumed humans hated her kind. But this girl, she sounded gentle, careful, kind. Alina looked at Ravina's thin arms, glowing skin, and weak breathing. You're hungry, she whispered. And you're hurt. Ravina didn't answer. She didn't have the energy. Alina reached into her bag and pulled out her lunchbox. Inside was only half a sandwich and a small piece of cake. She pushed it toward Ravina. Ravina hesitated. She remembered how humans treated her people. But she was starving. Slowly shaking, she took the sandwich. She sniffed it and bit into its small, careful bites at first. Then faster. She ate like someone who had not eaten for days. Alina's eyes softened. She sat closer. What happened to you? She asked quietly. Ravina looked up, her glowing eyes filled with fear and sadness. Humans, she whispered in a broken voice. Humans hurt my people. Alina felt her stomach drop. She didn't know what to say. But she knew one thing. This girl needed help, and she couldn't leave her here to die. Alina took a deep breath. Listen, I don't want to scare you, she said gently. But I want to help. You can trust me. Ravina watched her carefully. Her body still trembled, but something inside her softened for the first time in weeks. Alina slowly stood up. I'll come back tomorrow with more food. Just wait for me, okay? Ravina blinked weakly. She didn't know if she believed her. But Alina's voice felt warm. Alina took one small step back, then said softly, And please, before I go, if you like this kind of stories, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me share more of these amazing adventures with you. She smiled, then turned to leave. But before she reached the door, Ravina whispered, Don't. Leave me. Alina stopped. The forest wind blew hard outside. A deep, echoing sound came from far away, something big moving in the darkness. Something searching. Alina's heart pounded. She slowly turned back, eyes wide. Okay, she whispered, stepping toward Ravina again. I'm here. And in that moment, both of their lives changed forever. The sky was still gray the next morning when Alina woke up. She barely slept all night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the glowing girl lying weak inside the broken shelter. She heard her soft voice again. Don't. Leave me. Alina sat up quickly, grabbed her school bag, and filled it with whatever food she could hide without her parents noticing. 2 apples, bread slices, biscuits, and a bottle of water. Her hands shook a little. She knew helping an alien was dangerous. If anyone found out, everything could go terribly wrong. But she couldn't just ignore Ravina. Alina slipped out of the house quietly and hurried toward the forest. The air was cold, and the wind carried the faint smell of rain. The trees looked darker today, like they were keeping secrets. She walked quickly, her heart beating faster with every step. She prayed Ravina was still there, alive. When she reached the old shelter, she held her breath and stepped inside. Ravina was sitting in the corner, exactly where she had left her, but she looked slightly better. Her glow was still weak, but her eyes opened when she heard Alina enter. You came back, Ravina whispered. Of course I did, Alina said, smiling softly. I brought food. A lot of food. Ravina stared at the bag like it was treasure. Alina put everything on the floor. Ravina picked up the apple first. She smelled it, then took a bite. She closed her eyes as if she hadn't tasted something sweet in her whole life. You must have been hungry for many days, Alina said gently. Ravina nodded. Since the humans attacked. Alina sat beside her, careful not to scare her. Can you tell me what happened? Ravina's hands trembled. Her voice broke as she spoke. My people came here peacefully. We were looking for a safe planet. We never attacked anyone. But humans saw us as something to capture. Her eyes filled with sadness. They hunted us. They took my family. They wanted our energy. Alina felt her heart squeeze. She didn't know humans could be this cruel. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Ravina shook her head. "Not you. You are different." For a moment, the shelter was silent, only the wind whistling through broken wood. Then Alina stood. "I can't leave you here. It's not safe. If someone comes, if they find you—" Ravina lowered her head. "I know." Alina bit her lip. She had a crazy idea, dangerous, impossible. But there was no other choice. "I'll hide you somewhere safer," she said. "At my house." Ravina's eyes widened. "Your home?" "Yes. We have a small barn behind the house. Nobody goes there. You can rest there until you get stronger. But we must go at night. My parents can't know." Ravina looked scared. "What if they find me?" "They won't," Alina promised. "I won't let anyone hurt you." Ravina stared at her for a long time. Finally, she nodded. That night, after everyone slept, Alina returned to the forest with a flashlight. Ravina was already standing at the edge of the shelter, her glow faint like moonlight. "Are you ready?" Alina whispered. Ravina nodded. They began moving through the forest. Every branch snap made Ravina jump. Every rustling leaf made her press closer behind Alina. When they reached the village, things became more dangerous. Lights shined through windows. Dogs barked softly. A motorcycle passed on the road. Ravina hid behind bushes each time, trembling. "Don't worry," Alina whispered. "We're almost there." The barn was only a short distance now, but suddenly a flashlight beam swept across the street. Alina froze. Mr. Harris, their neighbor, was taking out the trash. He looked around casually, but the beam of light turned dangerously close to them. Ravina panicked and pressed herself against the wall. Alina quickly grabbed her hand. "Stay still. Don't glow." Ravina tried to dim her body light, forcing it down with all her strength. Her glow faded to almost nothing. The flashlight hovered, then finally moved away. Alina exhaled loudly and pulled Ravina behind the barn. "Come inside," she whispered. The barn was dusty, full of old tools and boxes. But it was private, safe. "This will be your place," Alina said. "Just for now." Ravina ran her fingers across the wooden wall. "It feels warm." "Safe. You'll be safe here," Alina promised. But the moment the words left her mouth, a loud mechanical hum filled the air. Ravina's eyes widened. "They are here." Alina looked up through the barn window. A dark shape moved across the sky, slow, silent, dangerous. A military drone.